I want to explain what does the precinct mean. The precincts of Parliament is the area of land and every building or part of a building under Parliament's control, including the chambers in which the proceedings of the houses are conducted and the galleries and lobbies of the chambers. Every part of the buildings in which the chambers are situated and every forecourt, yard, garden, enclosure or open spaces approachment thereto. Committee rooms and other meeting places provided or used primarily for Parliament's purposes, and every other building or part of a building provided or used in connection with the proceedings of Parliament while so used. And since I know that this is the first special sitting convened in terms of Rule 15 of the Standing Rules, which reads as followed. At the first sitting of the legislature each year, the Premier must deliver an address on the state of the province. This is a special sitting solely designated to receive a state of the province address delivered by the Premier. Furthermore, Rule 18 subsection 3 reads as follows. The only business that may be concluded at a special sitting will be the business for which it has been designated. Honorable members, I would like to introduce the Ekurhuleni Mass Choir, who will be leading in the singing of the national anthem in terms of Rule 8, subsection 1b, which reads as follows. The national anthem must be performed at the beginning of the opening and closing of the legislature each year, and I will therefore call upon the choir and ask all members and our guests to stand up for the singing of the national anthem. We can remain standing for the singing of the AU anthem.
Viva
Thank you very much. You may all be seated. I wish to take this opportunity to welcome our Honorable Premier, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, leaders of different political parties, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we have members or delegates, our official delegates, permanent delegates to the NCOP, former members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. I am aware that our former Premier, Mbazi Mashilowa, is here with us. You are welcome. I'm not sure where are you, Mbazi Mashilowa. Thank you very much. You are welcome. I'm also informed that Honorable Mathole Mutsecha, because he's still a member of Parliament, is also here. Oh, he's seated there. Thank you very much. I've also seen our Judge President, Mlambo. The High Commissioners, Ambassadors, Consul Generals are here with us. All former members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, former speakers and deputy speakers of the GPL. I'm sure we're all aware that one of our former deputy speakers was honored with Isitolande, Siaparankwe, Mam Sophie Brain. The judicial institutions, our veterans and freedom stalwarts. I want to actually acknowledge my special guest, Untate Piri, who's the only surviving member of the Lutuli detachment in Eguruleni. We also have other stalwarts in our midst, the Human Rights Commissioner, secretaries of the provincial legislatures in our country, representatives of the SADC countries, the faith-based organizations, executive mayors of all municipalities in Gauteng, in particular the mayor of Eguruleni, who's our host today, Honorable Mzwandile Masina. I saw you coming in. Thank you very much. And the speaker. Speakers of all municipal council and all councillors present, all guests of the Premier. I'm not going to mention all of them, the guests of the presiding officers, including the guests of the speakers. I'm not going to introduce all of them, there are too many. LSB members, including subcommittees of the LSB, all strategic corporate partners present, guests of the various political parties, guests of the Secretary, all Chapter 9 and 10 institutions supporting democracy, representatives of the National Prosecuting Authority, the City of Eguruleni councillors, our hosts are here, presiding officers of all sector parliaments, the creative industry or sport, women in business, DGs and HODs of departments, all representatives of the business sector, the organized labor, leaders and guests of political parties, traditional leaders, religious leaders, and members of various faiths, youth organizations, leaders and academics from all Gauteng institutions of higher learning, non-governmental organizations, Vita Basadi winners for 2018, the media, and all other guests. Let me also apologize in advance that if I did not mention either your name or your institution where you're coming from, it's not intentional, it's because I was given a list of all those that have confirmed on time, but you are all welcome. You are very much important to this province as well as the Gauteng legislature. Colleagues, I will now suspend the sitting for 3 minutes in order to allow the media to take photos in the chamber in session. 3 minutes only.
The free education, we get cash, and then when you grow up, you have to be responsible about the amount that you're getting every month.
Mo di kolong tsa bana di grant le di clinic there are ba try mo hona ke ba betela matso.
Gauteng government is doing at least better for us, you know, as old people, because we are getting even a grant, and we are getting even free transport.
What they've done in the metropolitan area, well, there's significant improvement in terms of structural development, but I think that there's more focus on structural development than youth development, because there's inadequate facilities. We can go study about something. They are very little, you understand. We have to travel far to go get certain services. Well, transportation and all that, yes, it's good on top of it, but they need to focus more on the youth.
Education is free, but what I think about the Gauteng government is that they need to improve unemployment, since a lot of youth are unemployed, and some of them they graduated but they don't have jobs.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, Honorable Ntombi Mihwe, our Deputy Speaker, Honorable Nomantu Nkomora Lehoko, the Chief Whip, Honorable Sothaile Kanyile, former President Kgalema Motlanthe and Mrs. Gugu Motlanthe, former Premiers Bazema Shilowa and Matole Motsecha, members of our Executive Council, the President of the South African Local Government Association, and executive mayors, and in particular our host mayor, Councillor Mzwandile Masina, honorable members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, members of the Diplomatic Corps, veterans of our liberation struggle, leaders of the faith-based community and traditional leaders, leaders of trade unions and business organizations, the DG of our province, heads of departments, city managers, the new Provincial Commissioner of the South African Police Service, Lieutenant General Elias Mawela, and the heads of law enforcement agencies in Gauteng, the people of our province. Today, I once more stand before you as a humble servant of the people of our province to deliver the last state of the province address of the 5th Provincial Administration. On the 8th of March, our country will hold its 6th national and provincial elections to usher in the 6th post-apartheid administration and legislatures in national and provincial level. As we conclude this term, we are duty-bound to reflect on the 25-year journey of change that our province has been going through since 1994. Our province has undergone major changes regarding its social structure, its economy, its infrastructure, and indeed the quality of life of citizens. Our population has doubled from 7.8 million in 1996 to 14.7 million today. This makes Gauteng the most populous province in our country. Essentially, 1 in every 4 South Africans live in Gauteng. Our economy has grown 5 times from 290 billion in 1996 to 1.5 trillion rands in 2017. Gauteng is not only an economic or industrial hub of South Africa, but we are also the 7th largest economy in our continent. The number of people employed in the Gauteng economy has also doubled from 2.6 million in 1996 to 5.1 million in 2018. The size of our public education and public health systems have also doubled. In 1994, there were only 1.2 million learners in public education, and today there are 2.3 million learners. The Gauteng public health system serves 20 million healthcare users per annum today, whilst in 1994 it was only 7 million patients. The built environment of Gauteng has changed profoundly as a result of huge investments in social and economic infrastructure. We have built new schools, new houses, new libraries, new hospitals and clinics, new social amenities, new police stations, new roads, and many other public transport infrastructure that didn't exist in 1994. Access to basic services has increased from an average of 60% to an average of 85% in 2018. The 2018 Quality of Life Survey records that access to formal housing is at 81%, piped water at 91%, electricity at 92%, sanitation at 91%, and refuse removal at 83%. The Quality of Life Survey also records that home ownership amongst the poor in our province is very high. The government housing program has delivered more than 1.2 million houses in our province, thus providing decent shelter to more than 4 million people. Consequently, Gauteng residents have experienced continuous significant improvement in their quality of life and their level of satisfaction with basic services and infrastructure is above the national average as demonstrated in the Quality of Life Survey. Our province is a zone of opportunity that offers better living standards for millions of our people. Hence, it continues to experience the high rate of in-migration and rapid urbanization. Madam Speaker, these qualitative changes in the lives of the people of our province represent a towering monument of progress during the first 25 years of our democracy. Working together with all sectors of the population in our province, we must do everything in our power to ensure that this progress is consolidated and never reversed, and to particularly ensure that opportunities are enjoyed by all in Gauteng. Honorable members, we need to understand that we are a province of trailblazers and pioneers. We are the home of excellence in many areas of human endeavor. Our province is endowed with citizens who are very self-driven, well-informed, and better educated. They are eternally optimistic, more resilient, and always determined to succeed against all odds. And many of them refuse to live a life of despondency and despair. Gautengers work very hard to improve their own lives and those of their families and their communities. Many are decent human beings who work hard to earn an honest living and pay their taxes. As government, we need to understand that the people of our province are proud of doing things for themselves instead of depending on government for everything. They often say to me during Terisano that they need a helping hand from their government, not handouts and patronage. This is their attitude, this is their spirit. Our province also has a very active and impatient citizenry who have no tolerance for government officials who have no sense of urgency. They demand accountability, integrity, and transparency from their own government and don't take kindly to public officials who are arrogant, dishonest, self-serving, corrupt, and incompetent. To have a citizenry of this kind, with this kind of attitude and spirit is a blessing and not a curse. It is an honor, honorable members. It is an honor, honorable members, to lead this province and to serve its people. The Gauteng spirit lives among the people and is expressed in their diverse cultures through various art forms such as song and dance, fine art, poetry, books, etc. In his poem titled Kasi for Life, Themba Emmanuel Mashobani cheers up those working hard in our townships to earn an honest living. And Themba Mashobani is here with us today. I quote from him. I would like to quote from him. Your people who wake up in the early morning, pick up all tins and plastics for recycling just for them to put food on the table gives me hope. To all the Kasi guys at the Konam Sawawa fruit shop, big up. Our Kasi old ladies on that little braai stands with their hot runaways, I salute you. I salute you because you are doing something for your lives. To our parents who are not tired about gathering themselves for small-scale farming at that Kasi open field, know that you humble me. This is Themba Mashobani. A young, talented township musician from Katleong, just next door, Questa, also grapples with contradictions and challenges of urban life through his song, Spirit. And Questa is with us here today. The song is about religion, race, class, wealth, aspiration, appropriation, manhood, motherhood, resistance, and resilience. The essence of Questa's song is best explained by Professor Leslie Loko, an academic from the University of Johannesburg, who argues that spirit is about the paradox of life in the cities where things are in a constant state of becoming. Accordingly, resilience and determination in the cities and in the townships is not only a choice. Giving up is not an option. We are a province of dreamers. We are a province of hustling. Professor Loko asserts that life in our cities requires a great deal of resilience because it is a paradox. And I quote from the professor, "It is a paradox, a seemingly insurmountable distinction between trying and failing, between success and compromise, and between experimentation and apathy." This is what life in the cities, and especially in the townships, is about. Honorable members, therefore, the State of the Province address is dedicated to the people of our province, who live in the townships, in the informal settlements, in the suburbs, who are working very hard to make something great out of their own lives and those of their own families, who are working very hard to build a better future for themselves and their communities. I salute you, all hard-working people of Gauteng. It is this spirit of work, hard work, resilience, and excellence which inspires the daily work of the ANC-led administration in this province. As your humble servant, let me be frank with you. The Premier of Gauteng is a tough job. Gauteng is a huge and complex province with citizens who want change and who are very, very demanding. I think it is also not easy running even the smallest city and municipality in Gauteng. It is very tough. You can ask the mayors and ask my friend, Honorable Msimang here. It's very tough to run even the smallest municipality and the smallest metro in Gauteng. What about running a province? But someone must step forward and do this job. Someone must step forward and do this job, however tough it is. My prayer is that those of us who make ourselves available to do this job do it for the right reasons. The duty to serve and an obligation to bring change in the lives of our citizens. As the ANC-led government, we shall not rest until Gauteng becomes a province in which opportunities are enjoyed by everyone, regardless of race, religion, gender, and place of origin. We shall not rest until everyone, including people who may have not been born in this province but are legitimately here, have access to opportunities. We shall not retreat from the dream of making sure that all people of our province live in dignity as equals. We shall not surrender to greed and corruption. Gauteng has opportunities and the capacity to enable all its residents to realize their dreams. We are a province of ambitious, entrepreneurial, and hardworking people who are driven by the creative energy and the urge to succeed. Madam Speaker, it is for this reason that as the ANC-led administration, we have been working very hard together with our people to provide the necessary skills, the services, the infrastructure, and to build institutions that empower citizens so that they can take full charge of their lives and pursue their dreams while contributing actively to the creation of a society underpinned by justice, equity, and inclusion. The core mandate of the fifth administration is transformation, modernization, and reindustrialization of the Gauteng city region, so that all the citizens of our province can enjoy a better life. This is the spirit that drives Team Gauteng. In this regard, education, training, and empowerment of the children and the youth of our province remain the #1 priority of our administration. And we have made tremendous progress in the transformation, modernization of our education system. Investing in people is the most decisive act of national development. It is through education that we can unleash the creativity of our people and cultivate the spirit of resilience, excellence, and hard work that Questa and Mashobani talks about. Over the past 25 years, this province has transformed our racialized education system inherited from apartheid into a qualitatively improved system that offers better education to all learners, including those from the townships. We have made huge investments in our education system, in expanding infrastructure and adding more capable human resources to cater for the growing population and meet the needs of the new economy and new society in this digital age. We have introduced pro-poor policies to increase access to education and schooling and educational achievement among those particularly from the poor households. These include the provision of school uniforms, school nutrition, and dignity packs to children from poor households. In the past 5 years alone, we have provided 1.2 million girl learners with dignity packs. 1.1 million learners receive meals on a daily basis in our schools. And 500,000 learners have received school uniforms. Gauteng is now the best performing province with regard to grade 12 results. Eight out of 10 best performing districts in the country are here in our province. And all districts in our province perform above 80%. Our province also contributes the largest number of bachelor passes, that is 43%, at this point in the history of our country. Much to the chagrin of the architects of grand apartheid, township schools have undergone significant transformation and modernization. And today they are producing amongst the top performing learners in the STEM subjects in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These learners come from our townships. Gauteng also leads our country in gearing our education system for the future through the deployment of ICT to improve learning and teaching in our schools. The rollout of schools of specialization and the reopening of technical schools is part of preparing our children for the digital revolution, the fourth industrial revolution. And this will contribute to the development of artisans and technicians who are in very high demand in our economy today, particularly if we want to manufacture and create. President Ramaphosa has made a policy decision to invest in early childhood development. This is a game changer that will have far-reaching impact into the future of our children. We as Gauteng are ready to lead this revolutionary change. In the past 4 years alone, we have increased access to ECD from 83,000 to 480,000 children. We have also been introducing common standards and training ECD practitioners in partnership with international organizations such as the respected and revered Italian Institute. Although higher education is a national function, the provincial government has built a partnership with all Gauteng-based universities to collaborate on student accommodation, skills training, and human resource development, as well as in public policy development and implementation, innovation, research, and development. Currently, this ANC-led administration spends close to 1 billion rands annually on student bursaries in line with priority skills that are aligned to the 11 sectors of our economy. Since 1994, 13,000 students have benefited from our bursary program. To demonstrate practically that education is the #1 priority, in 2016, I advised the Executive Council to sell the Premier's official residence to enable more students from townships to access university education. Premier Shilowa, that house of yours has been sold. The house has been sold and it was able to pay now for 40 students who are at university today. The decision to forgo the luxury of an official residence has changed the lives of 40 university students. Young people in our province are the priority of this ANC-led administration. We have taken decisive steps to tackle the acute problem of youth unemployment by introducing TSEPO 1 million as a flagship program to empower youth with skills and open opportunities for them to access the market, the labor market. The impact of this program has been phenomenal. More than 510,000 young people have benefited from the demand-led skills training and entrepreneurship opportunities coming out of TSEPO 1 million. TSEPO 1 million has also brought hope and revived enthusiasm amongst the youth of our province. Their energy can be felt everywhere whenever we interact with them, those of us who go to the ground. Some of the stories of these young people will be told today through the State of the Province address. Prudence Mahlangu, a 20-year-old young lady from Tembisa, registered on the TSEPO Mobi site for the program called We Think Code, which was a boot camp training course, and now works at Telkom. Prudence has the following to say: "The course has made me view life in a very revolutionary way, that I can transform people's lives through technology, how to step out of my comfort zone to build confidence and chase my dreams." This is the story of Prudence. Ashwell Graham, a 24-year-old young man from Eden Park, not far from here in Alberton, is currently working at Nedbank after getting a learnership opportunity through Tshepo 1 million. Ashwell has the following to say to other young people who are looking for opportunities. Constantly remain positive, always be open to opportunities, and show up. This is the story of Ashwell. Banele Zwani, a 25-year-old young man from Mfolo in Soweto who has been trained by Tshepo 1 million, now works as a data capturer. Banele's life has improved considerably. He is now living independently, pays his own rent at his own rented space, and manages to always assist his nieces and nephews financially. And Banele is here with us today to say thank you to Tshepo 1 million. Sinai Camille Bachis, a young woman from Tukomsres in the West Rand who recently graduated top of her class at the Buchenholz of Traffic College as a Gauteng traffic police officer, is one of the 100 young people who were trained as traffic officers as a contribution of the Community Safety Department to Tshepo 1 million. Sinai is here with us today to say she will be an honorable traffic officer who will never take bribes because she has been afforded an opportunity to serve our nation. Nelisiwe Kabini, a young, passionate woman entrepreneur from Ekangala, is a beneficiary of the Sasol I Empreneur program, which is in partnership with Tshepo 1 million. Nelisiwe runs her own events company, and she has the following story to tell. Tshepo gave me a great push in realizing my dreams. And Nelisiwe is here today with us to say thank you to the private sector partners who are working with Tshepo 1 million to give opportunities to the youth of Gauteng. Alfonso Joshua Botha, a young man from Restival in Sidibeng who recently graduated also from Traffic College as part of this 100 young people who are safety ambassadors, has also benefited from Tshepo 1 million. Alfonso has seen how drugs and crime destroys the dreams of young people in his community. And he wants to build a formidable career as a tough law enforcement officer who wants to keep our communities safe and free from drugs. That is the story of Alfonso. And lastly, Wisani Malungani, a 25-year-old from Grasmere in Sidibeng, was assisted by Tshepo 1 million to set up a Smart Start early childhood development franchise. Without the training and the skills that Wisani received in ECD, Wisani would not be where she is today as an owner of a successful and modern creche that is taking care of children in her community. Honorable members, the spirit of the youth of our province is that they don't need handouts, they need a helping hand. They want to make something out of their lives regardless of their backgrounds. We too must not disappoint them. One of the areas in which this ANC-led administration has made tremendous and irrefutable progress is on the question of the township economy. Prior to 2014, the provincial government's procurement spend on township businesses was only 600 million rands. Over the past 5 years, we have procured goods and services to a total of 22 billion rands. Today, our province is the pioneer, the laboratory, and the leader on the revitalization and transformation of township economies so that they can become sustainable and job-creating enterprises. We have provided financial and non-financial support and assisted many township businesses to have access to markets. We have also invested significantly in industrial infrastructure in the townships, the infrastructure such as the industrial parks and agri-parks, automotive hubs and ECAC labs. The Township Entrepreneurship Awards and Pitching Booster Program are platforms to showcase the entrepreneurial spirit and creative energies and innovation within the township economy in our province. There are several individual entrepreneurs who have benefited from government support who are here with us today, and some of their stories will be told through this State of the Province address. Iri B. Shabangu from Restival in Sidibeng is one of the 181 entrepreneurs who have benefited from the Pitching Booster Program. She won a 40,000 Rand prize from the Pitching Booster and used it to buy new equipment for her fashion design business. Iri has the following to say: I have the best sewing equipment in the world. I have a bigger space and it's heaven. One of my biggest achievements that deeply mean a lot to me is to be able to teach young, aspiring youth without funds to study the fashion industry, especially fashion design. I now have enough equipment to take 2 to 3 students a year. The most important thing next year, and that means this year in 2019, is that I'm finishing off my degree in clothing and textile and will finally have a formal qualification. This is Iri's story. Just with 40,000 rands from the Pitching Booster run by our Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. Grace Hinana runs Nokolo Bed and Breakfast in Mamelodi, which started as a pub and has now grown into 3 guest houses and employs 9 staff members from Mamelodi. Grace's business has received lots of support from the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller and the private sector in partnership with the provincial government. Ruben Nkosi of Roomco Steel Suppliers in Katlehong, not far from here, runs a successful manufacturing business also supported by the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. This business produces 20,000 balls per month and employs 11 township residents. Its customers includes Forester Timber, Summit Associate Industry, Anglo Ashanti, and Ingwe Mines. And these are big corporations. Both Iri, Grace, and Ruben are also here with us. We also have another business run by Mr. Popo Mabunda, that is Popo Construction and Projects from Ratanda. His entity manufactures bricks, lintels, steel doors, gates, and windows. It also sells cement and other building materials in the township and has been supported by our provincial government technically as well as in other training programs. Honorable members, one of the great stories of the township economy is a transformative partnership between the following major corporations: Pick and Pay, Old Mutual through its Masisizane Fund are in partnership with our Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, and they support 11 spaza shops which have now been converted into sustainable businesses away from survivalist enterprises they were. This program has helped to ensure that these township enterprises, which started as small spaza shops, are now decent retail spaces. And they are growing, and some of them, which used to earn 10,000 Rand, to make 10,000 Rand a month, are now making up to 300,000 per month. And these 11 township enterprises have also grown in employment. They have added 200 200 new jobs in the townships just through this partnership. So, honorable members, all the stories of hope, resilience, and excellence are in this province. There's no doubt that our program to revitalize the township economy has captured the imagination of millions of people, not just in Gauteng. I often get calls from KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, and the Northwest of people saying, Premier, we are in the township economy, please give us an opportunity. And when I say, where are you? They tell me in Guyana, and I say, I'm sorry, our township economy can't reach Guyana. Or I'm in Tuba, and I say, I'm sorry, our township economy doesn't reach that far. Or I'm in Mafikeng, and I say, I'm sorry, our township economy program doesn't reach Mafikeng. The government needs to create an enabling environment to unleash the potential of the township economy. There are also complaints that I receive from businesses and cooperatives in the townships that say bylaws and some of the regulations impede the growth of township businesses. Many of them are saying that they are often punished by the authorities instead of being helped to thrive. I would like to use this opportunity today to call on municipalities to review their bylaws and regulations and ensure that these bylaws and regulations facilitate and promote the growth of township businesses instead of inhibiting them. Township entrepreneurs also complain about illegally operating businesses that sell toxic, adulterated foodstuff and counterfeit goods. And they also say that some of these township businesses and some of these illegally operating businesses are cleaning up money obtained from illicit dealing in drugs. And they also say these businesses don't pay taxes. These are the issues raised by township businesses. Let me be clear that we will not allow global criminal syndicates to take over the space of our township economies and displace genuine township businesses. I want to repeat that we will not allow global criminal syndicates to take over the township spaces and displace township businesses. We are determined to close any illegally operating business in any part of our province. Already, week by week, law enforcement teams in our municipalities are moving from place to place, township by township, CBD by CBD, suburb by suburb, to put a stop to these criminal operations masquerading as legitimate businesses. I have had an opportunity myself to join the police in some of the operations in closing down these businesses in Germiston and in the CBD of Johannesburg, as well as in Dobsonville in Soweto. There are several reasons, honorable members, why everything has to be done to ensure that townships are not left behind as Gauteng moves forward. There are at least two reasons for this. The first one is that the majority of the population of Gauteng live in our townships. Secondly, if we want to find a critical mass of black entrepreneurs, those entrepreneurs are found in our townships in a large number. So no meaningful change can take place without the inclusion of our townships. In his recent book, Casinomic Revolution, G.G. Alcock dedicates his work to what he calls the foot soldiers of the township economic revolution. The street vendors, the township manufacturers, the taxi operators, the spaza shops, the digital entrepreneurs, burial societies, stockfels, hair salons, rental business owners, social caregivers, sporting and creative industries, as well as those who are renting back rooms in our townships. Alcock has the following to say, and I quote, "The foot soldiers of this revolution, carrying on every day in the dust, the dirt, the dusk, and the dawn, they are the multitudes, some earning relatively large amounts of money, some surviving, most making a good living and supporting themselves and their families. The foot soldiers are regulated, restricted, and hobbled by municipal regulation, by lack of access to resources or funds, sometimes restricted by their own evaluation of themselves and the potential of their businesses. Yet, they survive and excel. These Kasi businesses are the future, the untapped potential of entrepreneurship," close quote. Honorable members, this is the spirit of optimism, resilience, and excellence found among township entrepreneurs in Gauteng. And this represents the spirit of our people. Spirit. Madam Speaker, one of the key objectives of transformation, modernization, and reindustrialization is to bring women into the mainstream of our economy. Currently, the ANC-led government spends 23% of its goods and services budget supporting women-owned businesses in this province. More than 7,000 women-owned enterprises are also getting financial and non-financial support from our government. Women constitute the majority of the beneficiaries of the programs of this administration. 60% of the beneficiaries of the Agri-Enterprise Program, 55% of the bursaries scheme, 60% of TEPO 1 million, and 65% of housing delivery. The beneficiaries of this are women. Over the past 2 years alone, more than 100,000 women have benefited also from our public employment schemes. The success of our Welfare to Work pilot program has far exceeded our expectations. We have transitioned close to 36,000 young mothers who used to depend on child support grants to proper jobs and self-employment through the training and skills development program. And by so doing, we have far exceeded the 11,000 we set for ourselves at the beginning of the term. These young women now earn decent incomes and can take care of themselves and their children. The young women are taking the destiny into their own hands, and they want to do something good out of their own lives and for themselves. The success of this Welfare to Work program represents the general spirit of women in Gauteng. They never give up. They want to live independent and fulfilling lives. And we too will not give up the fight for gender equality and women empowerment. Madam Speaker, this fight to empower the youth, the women, and township businesses must be taken into the mainstream of our economy to reflect the diverse character of this province. Over the past 5 years, we have been implementing the Gauteng Economic Development Plan, which identifies 11 key sectors located in 5 corridors as priority sectors of our economy. Together with various stakeholders in the Gauteng economy, we have developed and adopted the Gauteng City Region Economic Development Plan, which is the blueprint on where we take our province. We have been building a social compact in practice by adopting sector-based collaboration between government and industry. We have conducted several visits to firms and sectors in 5 corridors of our province and have worked with industry leaders to address issues such as skills development, infrastructure needs, and access to incentives as part of enhancing job creation, exports, and empowerment of the previously disadvantaged. Jointly with industry leaders, we have put a great deal of efforts towards the revitalization of the manufacturing industry in our province, focusing on the automotive sector, machinery and capital equipment, mineral beneficiation, the aerospace and aviation industries, food and beverages, as well as the pharmaceutical industry. This direct engagement and support to the struggling manufacturing companies has helped revive some of the manufacturing operations in Ekurhuleni and Emfuleni. We have also been working closely with business in the services industry, such as the business process outsourcing, the ICT industry, financial services, and the tourism sector located largely in Midrand and Sandton in Johannesburg. We are working with national government and leaders of the mining and agribusiness sector to build an agro-industrial cluster in the West Rand. I welcome the decision by mining houses to release their own land for this agro-industrial development and the construction of new human settlements in the West Rand. Let's give the mining sector a big round of applause for releasing land for development and partnership with us. Madam Speaker, our province is also leading the country in promoting inter-Africa trade. Gauteng-based businesses have more than 300 foreign direct investment projects in the different parts of our continent, and these projects are worth 356 billion rands. These FDI projects have created and sustained 45,000 jobs in our own economy, even before we can count how many jobs they've created in the different parts of our continent. I am happy to report that the aforementioned initiatives on the township economy, the mainstream economy, and infrastructure development, as well as inter-Africa trade, have helped to create new jobs and sustain those that could have been lost in the past 5 years. Let me remind you, honorable members, that when this administration took office in 2014, Gauteng had 4.7 million people employed in our economy. And today we have 5.163 million people employed. So there are 469,000 net new jobs created in this economy just in the past 5 years. In case you don't understand the full implication of these numbers, I want to give an example. The Western Cape is celebrating the fact that the provincial economy there created 500,000 jobs in 10 years. In 10 years, 500,000 jobs. When here in Gauteng we have created 469,000 jobs only in 5 years, not in 10 years. Only in 5 years, not in 10 years. Only in 2018, Gauteng has created 172,000 new jobs. And these jobs come out of the inter-sector interventions we have been making in the various sectors of this economy. They don't come from people sitting in their offices. They don't come from people who think they're creating jobs sitting in their offices, because we don't sit in offices. We go to industries, we go where they are operating to see how we can help them there. And that's what has created this 469,000 jobs in 5 years, not in 10 years. According to the latest data from Foreign Direct Investment Intelligence, this is an entity, Gauteng has attracted 199 billion rands of foreign direct investment into this economy only in 5 years, thus creating 30,000 jobs. In 5 years, 199 billion rands. The Western Cape is celebrating the investment of 100 billion rands and 19,000 jobs over 10 years. When we are talking about only in 5 years, 199 billion rands and 30,000 jobs. So the scale and impact of what we are doing with industry leaders in various sectors in our economy is incomparable. But we need greater coordination in order to leverage what we can do much more in this province. We also need to ensure we bring all social partners on board, especially labor. And I want to say workers have a very important role to play in our economy. We have done well in bringing particularly industry leaders, but we need to bring trade unions in these partnerships, because unless workers in their organized formations are part of this journey of change, we will not make sufficient progress. Later this year, the following companies will announce an amount of investment close to 40 billion rands in various corridors of Gauteng. Former SAB Miller, which is today called ABN Bev, has a planned investment in Mfuleni, and we are finalizing the details regarding this investment. TMH is going to invest in Ekurhuleni to revitalize manufacturing operations as a result of DCD, the train manufacturing company, having run into serious problems. And in Ekurhuleni again, AXA is investing significantly as part of revitalizing that corridor. Planned investment will also be announced by Cummins Engineering and CCL Investments in Midrand in Johannesburg. Ford's planned expansion in Silverton, as well as the investment by Rainbow Junction Investment in Tshwane, is also another important investment around which we are working with these businesses. In partnership with Reggio Emilia, the Italian original equipment manufacturers, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, are working with us to turn Chemdo into a township automotive hub. Also in the West Rand, I've already announced that Sibanye, Stillwater, and Far West Rand Dolomitic Association are releasing 30,000 hectares of land for the development of an agri-industrial park. Going forward, we must be more aggressive and decisive in pushing a vision of turning the entire province of Gauteng into a single multi-tier mega special economic zone. Honorable members, I want to repeat this. We must turn our province into a single multi-tier mega special economic zone. This vision of a single multi-tier mega economic zone is what Hanan...
Excuse me, Premier. Please, guest, in terms of our rules, you are not supposed to clap hands, ululation, the whistling. You are supposed to just listen to the Premier, please. It's only members that are allowed to do so, but not our guest. Thank you.
This vision of a mega special economic zone is what Henan, an island province in China, became in 1979 when China started its policy reform of opening up their economy. Henan province is a special economic zone as a whole by itself. And this year, this same province, which is an island in China, Henan, has been declared by the Chinese authorities that it will go into the second experiment of being a free trade zone. Our dream, therefore, is to grow Gauteng province one area at a time, one corridor at a time, one hub at a time into this single mega special economic zone. This is what the city region will represent in its next phase of development, Premier Shilowa. The next phase of the city region is a single mega special economic zone. You started somewhere else, we are taking it to the next level. And thank you very much. Spirit. This year, as part of this growth of our province into a special economic zone, this year we will complete and officially open the OR Tambo Industrial Development Zone. The IDZ is ready for opening this year. Other special economic zones will follow in Tshwane, in Sidibeng, and in the West Rand as part of our movement towards the single multi-tiered mega special economic zone. Since 2000, Gauteng provincial government has spent more than 80 billion rands on infrastructure development. Premier Mutsecha. In 10 years, we have spent 80 billion rands on infrastructure development. To put the scale of this investment into context, again, another province of the Western Cape is celebrating the fact that they have put 42 billion rands into infrastructure in 10 years. In 10 years. This is to put this in context to understand the scale. Just over the past 5 years, honorable members, we have invested 53 billion rands into infrastructure in 5 years. That's more than what the Western Cape has invested in its 10 years. And there's lots of celebration there that they are having the biggest infrastructure investment program. We have built schools, clinics, hospitals, libraries, roads, public transport, broadband, and industrial infrastructure in our townships. For instance, this investment has created 120,000 jobs into our economy. It has also sustained incomes and helped to enhance the quality of life of our people. We welcome President Cyril Ramaphosa's invitation to provinces to develop their investment books which will fit into the national investment drive. We are very keen to plug into this national initiative. Gauteng has already developed a 5-year infrastructure master plan which is worth 1.3 trillion rands. Through our Gauteng Infrastructure Funding Agency, we have developed infrastructure projects that are bankable. Some of our infrastructure projects have attracted significant private sector interest and funding commitments from the recent Africa Investment Conference co-hosted with the African Development Bank. We are ready with bankable projects. Again, specifically over the past 25 years, our province has put a great deal of effort in assembling the building blocks of a public transport system through the Gautrain and the BRT systems in our metros. The full integration, the challenge going forward, Premier Shilowa, the challenge going forward is the following. Is that we need the full integration of the Gautrain, the BRTs, and Metro Rail into a single, modern, efficient, reliable, affordable public transport system. That's not for one class, but for all the people of our province. All these modes must be integrated into one single system. The Gautrain buses can run empty. The buses of Rea Vaya in Johannesburg can run empty. The buses of Arieng in Tshwane can run empty because we have people who have public transport needs. The next big thing is their integration. And this year, we are going to, from this year 2019, we are launching the Single Transport Authority in Gauteng Province. This year, we have been working with our metros and municipalities. We are launching the Single Transport Authority. Madam Speaker, we have also continued to roll out broadband infrastructure to ensure that internet activity in the remotest and poorest areas of our province. And our stoppable march and our march to the fourth industrial revolution or the digital revolution is unstoppable. We have connected 1,181 sites, that is schools, hospitals, public service care centers, and industrial parks into our broadband. Today, Gauteng has 10,000 kilometers. Today, Gauteng has 10,000 kilometers of fiber, according to Dark Fiber Africa. This gives our province the decisive advantage in positioning itself as a knowledge-based and innovation-driven economy. The provincial government is working very closely with Gauteng-based universities in developing an innovation ecosystem. In Tshwane, we are working with the Innovation Hub and the CSIR, as well as the University of Pretoria. In Johannesburg, we are working with Wits University and the University of Johannesburg to build an innovation corridor that stretches from Braamfontein to Auckland Park. And Simulohong ICT precinct in Braamfontein is already doing great work on the development of skills of the future. The future is innovation. Our provincial government has also been able to upgrade and rehabilitate the provincial road network of more than 5,000 kilometers. And these roads are not those that have e-tolls. They have been funded from our own provincial fiscus. These 5,000 kilometers of roads have been funded from our own fiscus. And it is for that reason that we have a problem with the e-tolls. While the user pay principle is not in question from as far as we are concerned, there is, however, clear recognition that urban tolling increases the cost of living and is therefore unsustainable. There's no question anymore. There is no question anymore. No. From the work we have been doing, South Africa and national government is persuaded and convinced that urban tolling increases the cost of living. Urban tolling increases the cost of living, and therefore it is not sustainable.
Sorry, Premier. Members, can we have order? Hansard is complaining that they can't record properly. Can we have order?
Proceeding from this consensus that urban tolling is unsustainable because it increases the cost of living, government teams are hard at work to find the solution to e-tolls. President Ramaphosa has just reassured me again that the resolution of e-tolls is one of the issues that are receiving his urgent national attention. The resolution of e-tolls. Spirit. Honorable members, water and energy security are also crucial for sustaining growth in our city region.
I see there's an order. Can we give the member, honorable member, the mic? And
I'm rising on a point of order, Speaker. I'm sure you can hear me. Your microphone is not working. The Premier and all of us may not mislead the House. He's misleading the House. He has just stated that he's not opposed to but then he continues to say that he's misleading the House. He may not mislead the House.
Firstly, member, you know that we're supposed to mention the rule under which you want to raise the matter. But if you want to debate the speech, Thursday is coming. This is not the day. Premier, you can continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the break. I appreciate the break. Water and energy security are also crucial for the sustainable growth of our city region. The provincial government and municipalities can do much more together to safeguard the security of water and energy supply in our province. Currently, the level of cooperation is disappointingly low, especially with regard to what we can do between our metros, Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg and Tshwane. And the cooperation is very low with regard to Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni on these energy issues. Oh, Johannesburg and Tshwane on these energy issues. I hope all of us will put the interest of the people first so that we collectively confront all socio-economic challenges facing our province and put aside party political posturing. We could have done more and moved faster in addressing some of the energy challenges we identified in 2014, and some of these plans were stopped after the 2016 elections to address the issues of energy in our province. Fellow Africans, Gauteng province is a cultural melting pot. We are the most diverse and cosmopolitan province, and indeed an Afropolitan province. The people of Gauteng express their diversity through arts, music, dance, food, rituals, craft, and creative pursuits such as gaming. In response to the persistence of racism, xenophobia, homophobia, as well as other related hate crimes, we established the eminent panel of social cohesion advocates led by retired Justice Yvonne Mukhoro. The panel has been doing fantastic work in facilitating productive social cohesion dialogues, and it has also intervened in some of the specific incidents of racism and xenophobia. I would like today to thank members of this panel for their service to the people of our province. Madam Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to thank the Sports Trust, the African Diaspora Forum, SAFA, as well as the Hellenic, Italian, and Portuguese Alliance for organizing the annual Premier Social Cohesion Games, which are a powerful statement against racism and xenophobia. The exceptional support of soccer legends such as Dr. Kumalo, who is in the house today with us, Tebogo Moloi, Kennedy Makara, and Kalusha Bwala, as well as the work of outstanding patriots like Maurizio Mariano and Stavros Nicolaou, has been great on these issues of social cohesion. The annual Gauteng Social Cohesion Carnival now attracts more than 50,000 people who participate in this festival in the capital city of Tshwane. These are people from different and reflecting a different and rich diversity of our province. We are encouraged that these men and women, black and white, young and old, are heeding the call to build bridges and foster national unity and patriotism. According to the latest Quality of Life survey, which has recorded significant improvements in progressive social attitudes and high levels of tolerance amongst the people of Gauteng. We also continue to honor the heroes and heroines of our nation who have contributed selflessly to our freedom and our democracy. Aware that sport has the power to contribute to nation building and social cohesion, the Gauteng government also continues to invest in the development of different sporting codes in our schools and in our communities. We are proud of our sporting achievements. In 2016, Gauteng won the School Sports Winter Games and further won the National Schools Championship Summer Games in 2018. Let's give our children a big round of applause. More than 200 young athletes from different schools in Gauteng represented South Africa in the International Tricolor Games in July in 2018 in Italy. And they won gold and silver medals for our nation. This is the spirit of Gauteng. the home champions. Spirit. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate Banyana Banyana, particularly the captain and the coach who have joined us today for their spectacular performance in the CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations and for qualifying for the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. You have represented our country very well, and you carried the fighting and resilient spirit of South Africa's women on your shoulders. Shine, Banyana Banyana, shine. Fellow human beings, please join me in conveying our unequivocal support to Caster Semenya, our reigning 800-meter Olympic and world champion, who's facing yet another humiliating case against the International Association of Athletics Federations. Caster has been humiliated too many times, and yet she refuses to give up. Her crime is that she's an African female athlete who is too good. Her life is an embodiment of the triumph of resilience and excellence over adversity and humiliation. Today, the people of our province must join hands in supporting Caster in the campaign #NaturallySuperior in her battle against the IAAF. Caster's humiliation must end now. Let her greatness reign. Malbongwe Gamalama Koskaz. Spirit. Gauteng is also the creative pulse of our beautiful continent of Africa. According to the South African Cultural Observatory, the total cultural creative employment in South Africa accounted to 6.72% of all jobs in our economy. Gauteng in particular accounts for 146,729 jobs in the creative sector, and this is 37% of the national jobs created. We continue to attract and host major creative industry events which include book and art fairs, design festivals, film and choral festivals, jazz and hip-hop festivals, food festivals, and as well as our own community lifestyle festival, Makelwan. Gauteng's creative spirit, infrastructure, and ecosystem has enabled many talented young people to flourish on a national and global scale. Who are those young people? Trevor Noah, Black Coffee, Casper Nyovest, a.k.a. Tutupuani, Zamantungwa Kumalo, Questa, Sihle Hlope, Tembi Khatlana, Khutacho Munchani, Lyle Foster, Stephen Pinar, Caster Semenya, and Nelson Makamu, the latest, South Africa's latest edition and the most revered African in art who has ever appeared in the front page of the Times magazine. And Nelson Makamu is here with us today. Honorable members, these are the jewels of our nation. These young people are the jewels of our nation. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to hold some of these bright and talented minds of our nation for lunch, for a conversation with them over lunch about the future of our province. They have a daring and fearless attitude. They shared with me their views and aspirations on matters of culture, education, entrepreneurship, the township economy, and the role of the creative industries. They want to contribute to the growth and transformation of the economy of our province and the larger economy of South Africa. And many of them are here today. I saw them here. Madam Speaker, allow me also to convey our heartfelt congratulations to the multi-award winning Soweto Gospel Choir And the Ladysmith Black Mambazo for winning Grammy Awards this year. Let's give them a big round of applause. This is the spirit of our creative people in South Africa and in Gauteng. Music lifts the human spirit, brings people together, and enriches their lives. In particular, gospel music underscores the power of prayer and the joy of faith. Amen. I would like to acknowledge religious leaders, the men and women of God, for the work they are doing in enhancing the spiritual well-being of citizens, as well as in fostering human solidarity, tolerance, love, and peace in the world. I call on religious leaders to work with government in tackling some of the harmful and shameful religious practices that brings God's name into disrepute. Such practices really give religion a bad name. We want to work with religious leaders to tackle such practices in our province. Madam Speaker, the public healthcare system in our province faces tremendous pressures and challenges as a result of in-migration. In the eyes of many citizens, our healthcare system also faces a crisis of believability. I have heard many stories during Interesano from citizens who have gone into our public health facilities never hoping to come out alive. This is an area of profound challenge in terms of service delivery, and it needs to be fixed now. The financial and structural challenges facing the public healthcare system are receiving both national as well as provincial attention. More recently, President Ramaphosa announced measures to address the urgent and pressing matters in public health care across the country through the Economic Stimulus and Recovery Plan. This includes addressing some of the shortages in our hospitals, making funding available to buy new equipment and linen, as well as filling critical medical posts. Over the next 5 years, we'll continue to expand the primary healthcare system by increasing the absorption of community health workers in the public health system in our province. Despite many challenges, Gauteng's health outcomes are improving. The average life expectancy has improved from 54 years in 2006 to 64 years in 2018. The average life expectancy has improved. The successful rollout of the antiretroviral treatment has drastically reduced the transmission of mother to child in our province to a level of 0.68%, which is close to the 0% we are working for. Our primary healthcare system is also working well. Gauteng has the largest number of clinics, that is 75%, that meet the national core standards of an ideal clinic. This ideal clinic is a clinic that is clean, opens on time, is well run, have reduced waiting times, and have high rates of medicine availability. This is an important achievement even as we go through big challenges with our healthcare system. Fellow compatriots, the Life Esidimeni tragedy represents the opposite of what we are about. When heartlessness and big-headedness creep into public decision-making, saving lives and saving the people take a backseat. This must never happen again in our government. The people must always come first. Once this heartbreaking tragedy happened, we took responsibility and put in place corrective measures to fulfill recommendations of the Health Ombuds Professor Gauteng Makhura. We also appointed the retired Deputy Chief Justice Dikgamu Seneke, who went through a painstaking and painful process of presiding over the arbitration and ordered our government to pay financial compensation to the affected mental health care users. We have moved swiftly to pay all the claimants by June 2018 in line with the award of Justice Moseneke. Currently, we are working with the Office of the Master of the High Court to ensure that the new set of claimants who came after the award was given by Justice Moseneke are also paid. The main concern of the Master's Office has been to ensure that the government pays the rightful person in each family and that the interests of the mental health care users are protected. That's the role of the Master's Office. This is what has caused delay, which created some consternation amongst the families who have not yet been paid. It's the second category of families. I am happy, though, to report to this House that an amicable solution has been found between the provincial government and the Master's Office, together with the affected families, on how this remaining claims can be settled speedily. And this shall be settled speedily. Law enforcement agencies are hard at work to ensure that justice is done. Those who have broken their oath and the laws of our land shall be brought to book on this issue of life as it demands. Honorable members, one of the issues I have raised consistently is my concern about the leadership and capacity of the South African Police Service and other law enforcement agencies in our province to deal decisively with crime. It is only through heartlessness, honorable members, it is only through heartlessness and big-headedness that some parties can ignore the pleas of affected families not to use the tragedy of life as a demand for point scoring and political campaigning. It's only through heartlessness and big-headedness that people can ignore such an appeal. Honorable members,
order members. Order.
During many Tirisano sessions, communities raise complaints about the high rate of crime and the lack of comprehensive response by our police. I am glad today to announce that the engagements with the Minister of Police and the National Commissioner about issues of crime in our province has yielded results. We welcome today in this House Lieutenant General Elias Mawela, who is a distinguished career as a skillful and dedicated crime buster. The new Gauteng Provincial Commissioner is a career police officer who has a wonderful track record. He doesn't only come alone. The appointment of the Provincial Commissioner is also accompanied by the reorganization of the South African Police Service by deploying more high-ranking police officers to police stations and clusters that are crime-ridden. This reorganization will also include the re-establishment and resourcing of more specialized units in fighting crimes such as gender-based violence, house and business robberies, car hijackings, farm murders, drugs, gangsterism, counterfeit goods, and cash in transit heists. The visibility of the police in our province and other law enforcement agencies is going to be the order of the day. We have already started on this anti-crime operations on a daily basis. I have agreed with the new provincial commissioner and the new provincial leadership of the police that Over the next 3 months, they must put behind bars the 20 most wanted criminals in Gauteng. Over the next 3 months, those 20 most wanted criminals must be behind bars over the next 3 months. I would like to call on members of our communities to be active citizens and join hands with us in building safe and secure communities. Over the next 3 years, Gauteng must become a much safer province, especially for women and children. Listen to me. Over the next 3 years, Gauteng must become a safer and secure province, especially for women and children. Despite the outstanding track record of delivering 1.2 million houses, the backlog of housing remains stubborn in our province, over 1 million. Again, this is due to rapid urbanization and the high rate of in-migration. In response to this challenge, we have introduced the mega human settlement projects aimed at bringing the private sector in the construction of post-apartheid cities and human settlements. Already, there are 10 projects that are under construction, mega human settlement projects, and then 11 projects are going through detailed planning, and another 10 projects are in the conceptual stage. So in total, we have 31 mega human settlement projects in Gauteng province. The mega human settlement projects are about building sustainable, inclusive, and integrated communities that will provide a wide range of social and economic opportunities. Honorable members, a new approach and policy shift is also needed. In addition to mega human settlements, we need a new approach to housing delivery. And that new approach is the policy and program of rapid land release, which is about releasing land to those in our province who want to build houses for themselves. Many of our people during Teresano say, we don't want houses that are built by government. Give us land, we want to build houses for ourselves. This shift has been embraced by President Cyril Ramaphosa in his 2019 State of the Nation address. We have already started right here in Ekurhuleni with Mayor Mzwandile Masina in the Rapid Rand Release Program. And every day we receive calls from different parts of the province where people are saying to me, Premier, when are you coming? We saw you are in Ekurhuleni. When are you coming to my area? When are you coming to Tshwane? When are you coming to Johannesburg? When are you coming to Ekurhuleni? When are you coming to Sidibeng? I want to say to our people who are raising this, that the Rapid Land Release Program is on course and we are coming to your areas. We need, however, I am concerned that there are delays and citizens are frustrated by some of the bureaucratic delays caused by municipalities and provincial government. We need a new legislative and financial instrument to facilitate rapid land release. In this regard, we will work closely with national government and municipalities. I want to say to mayors, there are mayors who think they can stop rapid land release. They must know we are coming for them and the people will punish them for that. There is no mayor who can stop rapid land release. In the spirit of Gauteng, the people are willing to do things for themselves. No government bureaucrat should be allowed to stifle this popular initiative. One of the most important instruments through which we can empower our citizens is to give them title deeds. As we transfer land to them and give them houses, we must give them title deeds. Because the people want to own land in the country of their birth. We regret the fact that we have not made some progress in some of the areas, including transforming hostels into family units. We have not made the progress we need. We now are going to ensure that hostel residents are included as beneficiaries of mega human settlements. We mustn't only wait until we have improved a particular hostel. We must take those residents who qualify into the mega human settlements that we are rolling out. So I want to say to the residents in hostels, you are not going to be left behind. You too deserve decent shelter enjoyed by others in our province. We have also heard the cries of students whose opportunity to reach their dreams is limited by lack of proper, safe, and affordable student accommodation. Accordingly, we are working with institutions of higher learning in our province to find a lasting solution, especially by ensuring that student accommodation is part of the new designs of the mega human settlements. Student accommodation. The student villages must be included as part of the mega human settlements. As part of rapid land release, we have transferred government-owned land. This is the land in the Johannesburg CBD to the University of South Africa for the establishment of a new learning center in the CBD of Johannesburg. We have transferred this land to UNISA because we want them to grow and have more of our young people going through higher education. In 2014, we made a commitment to radically transform the way government works. Through Ntirisano Service Delivery Rapid Response System, we have significantly improved the way government engages with citizens in our province. And citizens know, there are people who don't live in our communities, but those who live there know. They see us everywhere. We have been to 80 communities in Gauteng to engage with our citizens there. And those citizens know that we have been able to integrate their issues in the way government is working. The Quality of Life Survey points out that the performance of government rated by Gauteng residents has steadily been improving since 2011. This improvement is attributable to Ntirisano. Regarding good governance and clean administration, we have put in place measures to institutionalize integrity and promote ethical leadership as follows. By setting up the integrity management units, by pioneering transparency and the open tender system in our province, which is the only system in our country, by the appointment of the Civil Society-led Ethics Advisory Council. Drastic improvements have also taken place in audit outcomes in our departments. And lastly, we are collaborating with the Special Investigation Unit, the Public Service Commission, and the Public Protector in combating corruption and maladministration. The implementation of the open tender system has brought transparency, integrity, as well as restored trust in our public procurement system. The open tender system will now become law for the end of this term. We continue to strive for more efficient and prudent management of public resources. This money is not ours, this is public funds, and through the hard work of our citizens. I am happy that we end this term with tremendous improvements in public financial management. The number of clean audits has increased from 56% in 2014 to 65% in 2018. And this needs to be explained by some of the people who are illiterate, some of the people who are illiterate in this house. This needs to be explained to some of the people who are illiterate in this house, that we are counting all government entities and agencies that have been audited by the AG. And this is what gives us the 65%. Because that has been the case of counting all departments, all agencies, and all entities. For 2 consecutive years, honorable members, Gauteng departments and agencies had obtained unqualified audit reports. And to crown it all, we are ending our term with Gauteng province as the only province in 2017-18 that has achieved 100% unqualified audit outcome. The only province in the Republic. To strengthen good governance, Gauteng is the only province that has also enlisted civil society partnership in the fight against corruption by setting up the Ethics Council as our own anti-corruption watch. Over the past 2 years, the Council has done a great job in cultivating a culture of integrity and in promoting ethics in the conduct of business and public affairs in Gauteng. More importantly, the Council has advised the provincial government in how to deal with allegations of unethical business practices with some of the service providers that have done work with us, KPMG, McKinsey, and SAP. Consequently, the Executive Council took firm decisions to discontinue any business our government has been doing with the service providers involved in unethical and corrupt practices. Madam Speaker, people need to learn to read. They are illiterate. I have asked the Ethics Council to review any business that the provincial government has ever done with Bosasa. People must read. I have asked the Ethics Council to review any business the provincial government has ever done with Bosasa and advise us accordingly on the action that we need to take. The allegations coming out of the Zondo Commission of Inquiry are too serious to be ignored. The allegations coming out of the Zondo Commission of Inquiry cannot be ignored. We remain unshaken in our quest to make Gauteng a corruption-free zone where integrity and ethics reign supreme. The provincial government has a constitutional responsibility to provide oversight and support to local government. The latest quality of life survey has highlighted successes and challenges in the performance of municipalities in Gauteng. There are municipalities that are doing well in meeting the expectations of their residents, while others are struggling to meet the basic service delivery standards. Ekurhuleni, Midvaal, and Lesedi are top performers, and I would like to congratulate these hard-working mayors, Mayor Mzwandile Masina, Mayor Bongani Baloyi, and Mayor Lerato Maloka for being good servants of their residents. But Tshwane and Mfuleni have regressed dramatically over the past 2 years. They are moving in reverse. Let me welcome the new mayors of these 2 municipalities. Mayor Stevens Mukhalapa and Mayor Reverend Gift Mwerani, who have taken over in this municipality. I really heartily congratulate them. Myself, I congratulate them. I want to guarantee them my support in the spirit of cooperative governance. In the spirit of cooperative governance, we are going to work with all the mayors, regardless of the party from which they come. I must report that our 2 district municipalities, Sidibeng and West Rand, have no sustainable revenue base. We are discussing with national government the future and the funding of district municipalities in Gauteng. If district municipalities have no source of funding, they have no future. They can't just be there to pay salaries and not undertake service delivery. So the future of these district municipalities is a matter that we are discussing. I keenly await the outcome of forensic investigation into the VBS saga instituted by the provincial treasury so that appropriate action can be taken against those responsible. MEC Chrissy has reassured me that the investigation is about to be completed and it will be handed to me by the end of this month, which is February. That's next week, basically. Fellow citizens, the provincial government has also instituted various forms of interventions and support to municipalities in accordance with our law. This includes necessary investigations where there are allegations of corruption, maladministration, and mismanagement. We have a duty once more to strengthen cooperative governance and ensure that all spheres put themselves at the service of our people. I would like to report that we have had many interactions also with traditional leaders in different corridors of our province. Many of the traditional leaders are urging us to establish a mechanism for a structured relationship with the legislature and the provincial government. This is a matter that should be referred to the 6th administration and the 6th legislature in our province. Bayete. Madam Speaker, I remain humbled by the election of our province as the co-president of the Metropolis, the World Association of Megacities and City Regions in the world. In August last year, we hosted a successful Metropolis annual meeting and conference which focused on, amongst others, youth unemployment, women empowerment, inclusive growth, investments, connectivity, climate change, urbanization, cultural diversity, and infrastructure development in the world, not just in South Africa or in Africa. All major cities and metropolitan regions are facing common challenges on how to respond to these mega trends. The African cities and metropolitan regional governments should also speak with one voice and find a common African response to all challenges facing citizens at a local and regional level all over the world. Honorable members, at the 8th Afri-Cities Summit held in Marrakesh in November last year, Gauteng was also mandated to lead the Forum of African Metropolitan Cities and City Regions. I have accepted this responsibility on behalf of the people of our province and will execute it with a great sense of duty to our continent. Let me conclude by returning to the Gauteng spirit of eternal optimism, resilience, and excellence expressed by Questa, Mashobani, Alcock, and many stories of young people and township entrepreneurs. The future of this province is in the hands of the people who are hardworking, optimistic, resilient, and determined to always succeed under difficult conditions. I would like to thank the MECs, the Speaker, the Chief Whip for their solid and comradely support over the past 5 years. I also convey my gratitude to this House for being robust and holding us to account. I salute you, members of the House. Spirit, I salute you too. Salute you too. I convey my gratitude to the Director General of our province, the heads of departments, the special advisors, and all hard-working staff in the office of the Premier for their dedicated service and loyalty. I also hereby convey my gratitude to all the workers of our provincial government and their organized trade unions for their hard work and positive contribution to improving labor relations in our province during this term. You are partners in radical change, and I want to say to trade unions, you are partners in radical change. And now, Madam Speaker, allow me to thank my wife, Mpo, our children, and the entire family for their qualified support in doing this tough job in our province. Family is important. Family is important. But saving our people is also absolutely important. Karl Marx wrote a letter to his father in 1835 explaining why he chose to do what he did with his life. And I quote Karl Marx, "If we have chosen the position in life in which we can most of all work for mankind, no burdens can bow us down, because they are sacrifices for the benefit of all. Then we shall experience no petty, limited, selfish joy, but our happiness belongs to millions. Our deeds will live on quietly but perpetually at work, and over our ashes will be shed the hot tears of noble men." Close quote. Noble people, not just the men. So those of us who have chosen the path of saving the people of Gauteng have no regret. Whatever difficulties and challenges we encountered and will encounter in future as we continue to serve the people of our province, we say forward ever, backward never. Our country must never return to apartheid. Corruption and state capture must never be allowed to destroy the dreams of a better future and a better country. We must never retreat from the path of hope, renewal, and change. Gauteng must always move forward as the leader, the pioneer, and the laboratory of the most exciting and innovative ideas about how to build a country of our dreams. Lastly, I call on all the voters of our province to come out in large numbers on the 8th of May in order to exercise their hard-won right to vote for leaders of their choice. I say to them, vote for your future. Vote for your dreams. And I salute you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Honorable Premier, thank you very much for your address. May we please receive your speech, if it can be forwarded to the table, so that it can be placed in the order paper in terms of Rule 16. I think before we even adjourn the meeting, let me acknowledge our former First Lady, Mekuku Mutlante, who's here with us. I didn't see her earlier on. And our Integrity Commissioner, he is here. I'm sure it is not honorable for any member to actually rebuke a person who can't actually speak for himself or herself in this honorable house. It is unethical of members to do so. Let me also acknowledge traditional leaders and traditional healers who are here, because I forgot to mention them. Can I therefore request that as we're about to adjourn the sitting, we're all requested that all members will join us outside the venue for the group photo. While we do so, as we leave the house, I will request that we all stand up for the Premier and the Speaker to leave the house. Let me also announce that the next sitting will be on Thursday, the 21st of February 2019. The sitting is now adjourned. Thank you very much. Members, I want to instruct you before I leave the podium. I